The concept art from Alien Romulus continues to make its way online, and today we're going to take a look at some more of Dane Hallett's amazing work, with a group of alternate looks for the Offspring creature, and an unused transformation sequence where it would have become a Xenomorph. In Romulus, the final version of the Offspring had traits of the Xenomorphs, the Engineers, and the Humans, but it was the Engineer and Alien features that were the most dominant. But when we look at the first two concept images, we see a creature that leans more towards the Xenomorph and Human side. It has the height of an Engineer, but it has the body shape and posture of a human, along with the exoskeleton and coloration of the Xenomorphs, which have even more influence in the second image where it's darker and now has dorsal tubes growing out of its back. The next one is very close to our screen use version with engineer skin and facial features, though we can now see the Xenomorph qualities coming through with the dorsal tubes on the back, the dark coloration, and the biomechanical features of the alien that are now showing through its semi-translucent skin in the shoulders, neck, and face. The following images look to be a progression on the last one. We've seen other concept art of the Offspring where it had hair, but to me, the one on the left, along with the position of the eyes, looks a bit too much like Jake Sully from Avatar, while the guy on the right is showing more of the biomechanical textures through its skin. Its eyes are now covered, and it has a bit of a neomorph influence to it with the spikes on its back. And then we have the more vampiric looking Offspring, with hints of the vampires from the original Salem's Lot and Nosferatu films, with its bald head, large ears, whitened eyes, and massive teeth and claws. But it's also very alien, with the biomechanical features taking over its body from the legs up, while pathogen or Plagarius praepotens drains from its mouth. You can also see a mixture of skin on it, with areas that are white like the Engineers, and other parts that are pale like a white human. An early cut of the film had a Xenomorph that grew from within the Offspring and tore itself out at the end, and we'll see concept of that transformation here in a minute. But here, it looks like the creature is turning into an alien instead of having one inside of them. The next piece of concept art has an Offspring that looks a lot like the film used version. But the key item of note to me is that if you look at Kay on the ground, her chest looks like it was torn open by the creature. In the film, we see it suckling off of Kay, but we don't see how she dies or how it hurts her. But here, we can see that it was too aggressive in its feeding, or it just flat out killed her. The last of his alternate Offspring concepts really stands out from the rest with its massive dorsal tubes that nearly stand straight up off of its shoulders, looking like spider legs or extended fingers. The head is also very different from the others, with a series of holes in its forehead, sunken in temples and eye sockets, and it has this translucent skin that is pulled tight over the dorsal tube's head and shoulders. Add to this the eerie bent waist stance of the film used version, and this is one creepy piece of concept art. Now, I mentioned that early draft of the film where the Offspring would become a Xenomorph, and here, Dane has a group of images that show off this sequence. The Offspring shown is pretty much the final film used version, and in the first step, we see the pathogen as it oozes from its mouth. He then gains an elongated head and grows out the shoulder tubes of the alien, and then in the third shot, an inner jaw can be seen in its mouth, and there's a look of pain and terror on its face. And now that pain is even more intense, and black goo is now pouring from its mouth. We then see the dome of the Xenomorph as it begins to push its way out of the Offspring's forehead, and its teeth are now metal like an alien's. And then finally, it's tearing its way free as the Xeno rips the Offspring's face in half, with the alien shedding off its outer skin. Personally, I like the slower transformation for the hybrid, where the creature retains some of its traits of the Engineers, the Humans, and the alien. I do like the idea that it would become more alien as it progresses, but only if it never reaches 100% Xenomorph, and continues to be a blend of the three. Once again, I've got to say excellent work to Dane Hallett. Hopefully some of his unused work appears in future Alien projects. And as always guys, thanks for watching, take care, and I hope to see you next time.